All right, here we go. That's good. So, the story belongs to God. And the way that God takes the glory for everything in this story is that everything has a name, and every name has a number, and all the names are pointing to himself mathematically. So that no one can talk or speak about anything without glorifying the Triune God. So, for example, oh look, the tourists in a boat here. They're looking at a grizzly. Quick, take a picture. It's a grizzly. Well, why is it called a grizzly? Because grizzly equals 1, 2, 3 perfectly. And grade 1 children can do the math. And they should do the math. And we should have real education. Now this is really cool. So, I love how God ordains things in my personal life because I deliver the paper. And so I'm very careful to see what God has ordained in a lot of these issues. The front page headline divides by 3. You can do the math and all this whole text. It's basically talking about cool places in the story of God that are off the beaten path. And so I'm delighting myself. This is my favorite, this one on the next page. It's called the Rock Candy Mine. It's basically exactly what we're doing. Remember the word equals diamond, equals 60, equals holy, equals pure. We dig up all the names and words of world history and we do the math on them and we present them to the glory of the Trinity before all the trillions of watching angels and all of mankind that will eventually get to see this, provided they actually are willing to take the time to listen. So this peculiar place in BC is called the Rock Candy Mine, which equals love plus half a love, and you can find all those components. And what do you do with your family when you go to the Rock Candy Mine? Well, you dig for crystals. So cool. It's like the image of what we're doing now. And so when you add the in front, the Rock Candy Mine equals God is sovereign. Well, it was shut down in a year that divides by 3, 1929. Where do you get information when you go there? Oh, the visitor center. There's a lot of visitor centers worldwide. Visitor center divides by 3. You explore for crystals. Crystals is mathematician, 117. Okay? But it's called the Rock Candy Mine. Love plus half a love. Right next to it is Yoho National Park. Yoho, Yoho. Yoho, 63. National Park. Now you know why National Park is 132. Yoho National Park. It's like, beautiful picture of it. Woohoo. And then cabins divides by 3. This is on the shore of Lake O'Hara, divides by 3. And the mountains of Yoho National Park, divides by 3. And Yoho means, it comes from a Cree expression for mind-blowing, for God is sovereign. You just simply have to understand that God is sovereign over all the names and where they came from. It doesn't matter so much as it does what they are now in God's story, and He's sovereign over their developments. But it's fascinating that it means mind-blowing from a Cree language. It does matter where it comes from. It glorifies God that He's using all these languages all over the world, keeping track of them, taking care of them. It's His story. So that's how He takes the glory for every national park. National park equals 132. And the initials, NP, National Park, NP. Those initials are on maps all over the world. NP. Yosemite, NP. National Park, NP equals 30. It's all threes because God is 3 persons and it's all for His glory. So I love harvesting gems like Rock Candy Mine. So remember, there's a book called Thesaurus. Thesaurus means treasure. The words and the names of God's story are the rocks. They are the diamonds that last forever. History is unchanging. Once it's written, once the names came onto the scene, you can't change nothing. Try as you might, you're not backing up the truck on time. It's amazing. It's like history is a diamond. It's not changing. It's forged once, and it's forged perfectly. And it's mathematically gorgeous. And then you're finally seeing history for what it is. It's God's story, and God is perfect. And words are like diamonds. Names are like diamonds. Okay, so this is a favorite one of mine, the fact. And then there's another one, another gold mine that divides by 3. Look, it's cropped on a cliff, a crazy cliff. Like, this is a crazy place, but it's awesome. I'm showing you some gems that are like exciting to go to because no one travels there unless they go off the beaten path. Well, it's called the Mascot Gold Mine, which equals 150 perfectly. King for 3. Add the word the. You get 183, which equals Christ the Redeemer. The word former divides by 3. And then I'm highlighting things here like, even the cliff height divides by 3. It's 1,500. It takes 39 switchbacks to get up there. It's God's story. He's better than Steven Spielberg. Do you know how perfectionistic film directors are? About details. This many things, this many that, lighting. Well, God is more perfectionist than all the film directors in the history of the universe. And so it doesn't surprise us that he's just taking care of all this. Okay? So take a step back in time. I'm reading the caption. Caption divides by 3. Take a step back in time at the stunning location of the former Mascot gold mine. Well, the former equals love plus love, 108, equals worship. Mascot gold mine divides by 3. Look at this thing. Like, this is more epic than Steven Spielberg. This is way more epic than Lord of the Rings. That's a gold mine, perched on a cliff. That's how extreme God's glory is. Like, this story is far cooler than Lord of the Rings. Like, no matter where you go, no matter what the name of that place or thing is when you arrive, if you study it mathematically, it'll point you to the Trinity. Believe me, the angels have traveled every single corner of the globe, studying the names of everything under the sun. They can fly. So they can fly to this place like you and I can't. And they have better brains, I'm sure, than we do. They know the name of it. They're like, holy, holy, holy. Yep, the numbers add up perfectly. The Mascot gold mine equals Christ the Redeemer. Look at it. It's insane. It's cropped on a cliff, 1,500 meters high, digging in the rocks for gold. Things that, you know. So, altogether, the former Mascot gold mine. You can travel there with your son, your daughter, your family. It's part of the story of God. We just traveled there right now in our imagination. That's why God has given us video and photo, so that we can conquer this whole story with a group effort and share it with everyone and worship God together. Rock Candy Mine. That's my favorite because it adds to love plus half a love. And you can see from the circling with green that I already did, I started highlighting the 27s, which build the love plus half a love, and the rest is love left over. 135. Love plus half a love. Rock Candy Mine. What a cool name for a mine. Digging for gems. That's what we're doing. That's exactly what we are doing right now. Word equals diamond. So it's a heritage mine. That divides by 3. Visitor center divides by 3. Exploring divides by 3. Exploring for crystals divides by 3. Digging divides by 3. Digging for crystals divides by 3. And need we say any more? Okay? And so people go there, and you can dig for crystals and take home as much as you want. The whole story is a treasure hunt. That's my favorite one. Love plus half a love. Rock Candy Mine. You can take, it's in British Columbia. You can Google for where it is. Cabins, like 3 plus 3 plus 9, 15 plus 33. Cabins equals 48, double of triple eights. Oh, there's a bunch of them. 1, 2, 3, no less. Cabins divides by 3. Lake O'Hara divides by 3. Yoho National Park. Do you see that? Are you starting to sense the epicness? This is far more epic than Lord of the Rings, and it's far more perfect than Lord of the Rings. Because J.R.R. Tolkien can write a book called Lord of the Rings, but he's not doing math in his head regarding the names of all the characters, and the names of all the places, and the names of all the characters in the places combined, and the names of all the characters working together combined, but that's who God is. God knows the number of hairs on my head. He knows the number of my name. He knows the number of the names of the people that I've associated with in life. It all has to point to Him, and there's only one mechanism that I know by which it all points to Him, and that's using numbers. That's simply what I've seen, and that's simply what keeps coming. By the way, this morning when I go to the drop area where I pick up this exact newspaper and the whole bundle of them, every single morning, it's just dramatic. For some reason, there is a large, you're like, why should this thing be parked here? Right in the center of the parking lot, on an angle, unavoidable. Every time I drop in, I stare it square in the face. It's a huge truck that in large letters on the side reads Rob's Furniture. That's the name of the brand, Rob's. In all capital letters, that equals love, R-O-B-S. Rob's equals love. And then furniture we solved in the name of love. It was stunning. Watch that video on Lazy Boy Furniture. God has ordained that truck to be there, so that every single time I show up in the morning to pick up the morning newspaper, I see it straight in the face. Love. Literally, love mathematically, staring me straight in the face with red, the king of colors, surrounding the Robs. Okay, so I pay attention to all these things, and now I'm sharing them on a video because somewhere in the future, a group of human beings needs to take me seriously and needs to understand how God takes the glory for everything in world history. And then so I'm digging, and then I open the newspaper and I dig for gems. This is one of my favorite inside the, it's Tuesday, August 4th here inside the province. Team Canada won the Celebration of Light. Here's a beautiful photo of the fireworks by Team Canada. The Celebration of Light is the big fireworks show here in BC once a year every summer. And national teams perform fireworks. This year it was China and Brazil, I believe. Yeah, it was China, Brazil, and Canada. And Canada was the third team. I'm just sharing with you the threes that God is ordaining, like obvious ones. Team Canada divides by 3. We solved that in previous video. All the vowels, all the consonants add to love perfectly, and the vowels just bump it up even higher for 3s. The show was a 3-day show with 3 contestants. Canada AAA was the final one. And they had record-breaking crowds for Team Canada. And where does it happen? Oh, in English Bay. That's the name of the bay. You can see the boats on the water. It happens in a bay. This barge is in the middle of the bay. The people watch from the shore and boats. English Bay divides by 3. Do the math and you'll get the number. Team Canada. So I circle things that divide by 3 that are key parts of the story. Firework, of course, divides by 3. Starting with the 3 letters of fire that all divide by 3. Okay. Oh look, here's a picture of Trevor Linden. Anyways, Trevor Linden divided by 3. And better yet, what was the name of the company that produced this winning show for Team Canada, the third of 3? Archangel. Archangel Fireworks. Angel divides by 3. Arch divides by 3. Archangel in 9 letters divides by 3. It's sitting right here in the text of the story. Archangel. I highlight, I circle in red the words that are key that divide by 3. Remember, everything has a name. And it's the name that is the most important, because you can't talk about that thing in the story of God without saying its name. The name is the glory. That's why we are so concerned about our name. Do we have a good name? You know, what is associated with our name? Okay, well, for God, it's infinitely more important. So important that every single name under the sun in the story of God mathematically points to His name. So literally every name except God's name is as nothing compared to His. Okay? So it's a 3-day show. Team Canada comes on day 3. They win the show on day 3. It had a record-breaking crowd for that day. An estimated crowd of 500,000 people. And it says there was an estimated 1.1 million people over the 3 nights. Well, that means the largest night practically doubled the other 2. It says the best show was saved for last. Who is the Celebration of Light sponsored by? Honda. Well, Honda divides by 3. This year's Honda Celebration of Light fireworks competition. On Saturday, Team Canada wrapped up the 3-day show with a win, wowing judges and an estimated crowd of 500,000 with a dazzling pyrotechnic display synced to rock and pop tunes representing Canada, Archangel Fireworks, and then there you go. And it happened in English Bay. What does English Bay add to? English equals Jesus, equals Messiah, equals gospel, equals cross, equals gematria. Gematria is, of course, letters equal numbers by His ordinance. Equals energy, equals element, equals aurora. And that's how Jesus takes the glory for the aurora borealis, the northern lights, and the aurora australis, the southern lights, and every aurora in the history of light. So English Bay is 74 plus is 102. Wow. So this all happens in English Bay. Well, English Bay equals 102, which is the first 3-digit number that divides by 3 perfectly. It's not rocket science. Grade 3 children can do the math. This is exactly how God takes the glory for everything in world history, like it or not. It's being spoken on the lips of men. It's being shared and broadcast on YouTube. The whole world can access it. It's out of the bag. And it's now being revealed. So I just keep scooping up the 3s. Of course, this story is published in The Province newspaper. Every word divides by 3. The Province newspaper. Now I hopped over to the Vancouver Sun. The headline here, Canada World, both words divide by 24 And it is all about the new election race that Stephen Harper called just a few days ago on Sunday. And look at the 3s in this story. It's amazing. First of all, there's principally 3 people involved. There's 3 parties running. 1, 2, 3. Stephen Harper on the front, Tom McClare in the middle, Justin Trudeau last. Okay? I believe with all my heart that Stephen Harper is going to win. But listen to the 3s in all this. It is Canada's 42nd election. Divides by 3. This is the longest election campaign in the history of Canada. It's a 78-day campaign race. And on the front page of the newspaper, they call that out by saying, long campaign officially on. Now, of course, if you're into American politics, you know that presidential campaigns are far longer than that. But in Canada, a 78-day campaign is king for 3. 78 is God plus God plus God, triple God. It's like to the glory of the Trinity. It's the longest campaign in the history of this country. So I'm very conscious of the special 3s that are very dramatic that God is ordaining in this very year of this country. This is the 33rd year of my life, and here are the exact $33, 32 loonies and 4 quarters, that a friend, Scott, gave to me for my birthday without knowing any of this number stuff that was going on. And Scott plus Derek divides by 3. God revealed that to me. Okay? It's also the year 2015, and that in text is 15 times 15, the full birth name of the Queen. So, it's the 42nd election in the history of Canada. Are you starting to get how perfect God is and how epic God is? 42nd election. This is hundreds of years in the making. Just for one number. Just for one number, right now, in this day of history, that number 42, which divides by 21, a double of that, a sevenfold set of 3s. 4 plus 2 equals 6, divides by 3. Okay? But that number has been hundreds of years in the making, like back to the beginning of Canada, the first election, whenever that was. So it's the 42nd election divides by 3. Okay? The first debate between the running candidates happens on Thursday in Toronto. Well, Toronto divides by 3. We solved that from the Pan Am Games. TNT equals love perfectly. The letters that don't divide by 3, all the rest do. Stephen Harper called it. Stephen Harper, we found love in Stephen Harper. The last 3 letters, H-E-N, equals half a love. The first 3 letters of Harper, H-A-R, equals the other half a love. There's love at the center of Stephen Harper. Stephen and Harper both divide by 3. His middle name is Joseph, and we've solved Joseph. It's the 21st prime, sevenfold set of 3s. So it's a 78-day race, divides by 3. Every word that I'm going to say divides by 3. Conservative leader Stephen Harper. That's who he is. He is the conservative leader. And that's what this caption begins with. So conservative divides by 3, starting with the letter C, which is 3. Leader divides by 3, starting with L, which divides by 3, and R as well. Stephen and Harper both divide by 3. So it's no wonder that he's one of the longest serving prime ministers in the history of this nation. By the way, who is the runner-up? Well, Wilfrid Laurier currently has the record, and lo and behold, look at the name of Wilfrid Laurier. Wilfrid equals 81, 3 times 3 times 3 times 3, with love at the center composed of all the letters that do divide by 3. The bookends are WD, which is another half a love. Laurier is 3 points higher. You got to be kidding me. So look at how perfect Wilfrid Laurier is. Like, just stare at it, study it like crazy. Find love in it. You'll be amazed. And the year that was, going back to 1908, which also divides by 3. Why is that? Because God is perfect. It's all about God, and God is 3 persons. Okay? This is the longest federal campaign since 1872. 1872 divides by 3. So I'm going through the article, and I know how God works. I know that He's glorifying the number 3, and so it makes it very simple. You're just going through and saying, wow, here's all the 3s like crazy. Okay. So, isn't that profound though? Conservative leader Stephen Harper. Every word divides by 3, and conservative starts with C, which is 3. Find love in conservative. I mean, I've just given a big boost for the conservative name and the Conservative Party, which is traditionally Christian. Hallelujah. As it should be. Okay. So what other gems did we scoop up here? Oh, and then more details from the back. This gets crazy. So they're talking about the 78-day election campaign and other numbers regarding that statistic. Okay. So this 78-day campaign is the longest in the history of Canada. Well, now they share the top scores before that. The 4 previous longest campaigns since 1872, which divides by 3. Okay. Second place is 66 days, which divides by 3. Third place is 63 days, which divides by 3. Next after that is 61 days, which is the 18th prime, also divides by 3, glorifies the number 3. So check the numbers for yourself. So you can see confirmation from God on this whole down to the day, the number of days for an election campaign in the history of the stats of Canada is perfect for the number 3, which is to say it is perfect for God who is three persons, God the Father, Jesus Christ the Son, and the Holy Ghost. So if our children understood the story of God, and they understood true history, and they understood that God is doing everything for the glory of Himself, which is three persons, history now becomes breathtaking, exciting, and fabulously satisfying. Because you are studying the perfection of God for the number three, for Himself, and always find love, because God is love. Okay? Now history becomes satisfying. Now statistics become satisfying. Now facts and dates and figures and ages of people and times and places and names of things becomes fabulously fascinating and fabulously satisfying. Okay? Because you're understanding it for what it is. A giant three-fest and love-fest for the glory of the Triune God. Okay? So, I don't know about you, but based on the numbers alone of these three men that are running in this campaign, we have conservative leader Stephen Harper, also known as Prime Minister Stephen Harper, that divides by three so stunningly and perfectly and beautifully, and that's why he's going to win again. These guys are just here to round up the three fest as far as I'm concerned. That's you know, it just, someone needs to get bronze and silver to round up the three fest in the story of God. I can't get over that. So leaders of the three major parties, okay, and by the way, three major parties divides by three. Where are we? Focus. Leaders of the three major divides by three, and you need a +1 to go with P. Leaders of the three major parties. So three major parties divides by three. The first is conservative leader. I can't get over the fact that conservative divides by three, leader divides by three, and Stephen Harper, and that's what they start every caption. This is who he is. Conservative leader Stephen Harper. Literally, 3, 3, 3, 3. Triune God. That's why. That's why. And he's the longest serving Prime Minister in the history of this country since Wilfrid Laurier, who is 81 plus 84. By my calculations, that's 165, divides by 15, and there's love in there like crazy. Look at the love in the word Wilfrid. Every center letter that divides by 3 individually adds to love perfectly. And then it's bookended with WD, which equals 27, another half of love. Wilfrid, every time he was spoken of, and just talking in the parliament and talking to people, law, business, country, policy, Wilfrid, or Mr. Laurier. Mr., M-I-S-T-E-R, divides by 3. In fact, Mr. equals Laurier. Mr. equals 84. Laurier equals 84. So, oh, Mr. Laurier, please, Wilfrid, Mr. Laurier. His mother calling him, Wilfrid, can you come for dinner? Wilfrid, love plus half a love. Laurier, 84, 3 points higher. Now you know why he's so famous in the story of God. Now you know why he was the longest running Prime Minister in Canada. He's got the best numbers to glorify the Trinity. It's pretty simple. It's all for God. God takes the glory for every name under the sun. And you've got to name your children intentionally with love embedded in their names. That's what I see. There's only one mechanism I see emphatically that God takes the glory for everything in world history, and that is using the numbers. It makes perfect sense. Numbers are the universal language. It's perfect. It makes perfect sense that God would wrap the whole thing up in this way. There's many languages in this world, but there's only one number system. Numbers are numbers everywhere you go. 3 sheep in Germany is the same as 3 sheep in Mexico. Doesn't matter what language you speak, the numbers are the same. We all count the same. We all have 5 fingers. Okay? So I see emphatically, and I know that I know that I know, that numbers are the mechanism by which God takes the glory for everything that has been named in the story of God. And so I'm just sharing some examples with you from this morning's paper. And it just keeps coming daily. And it will keep coming daily long after I'm gone. It will keep coming till the end of the age, I believe. As far as we know from the book of Revelation, God will probably keep playing with perfect numbers for all eternity. Read about the numbers in the book of Revelation and the heavenly city and how perfect it is numerically. We have no reason to believe that God will stop using perfect numbers for all eternity. Okay? So, it's important that we do this so that we have a generation of people that are worshipers. That's the greatest commandment. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. Who is God? Jehovah. Who is Jehovah? He's 3 persons in one. God the Father, Jesus Christ the Son, and the Holy Ghost. The name Jesus means Jehovah is Savior. Okay? And, or Jehovah saves. Jesus is Jehovah. The Holy Ghost is Jehovah. God the Father is Jehovah. Okay? 3 in 1. And that's why we love family, and we love friends, and we love togetherness with other people, because we are made in the image of God. We are relational by nature. We are born to be together with others. Okay, so there you go. I just had to preach on those gems from this morning, and then some other words that I wrote down just from the paper, like other words that just, oh, an article on fish hatcheries. Well, fish hatcheries divides by 3, and then find love in them. You know, there's a very famous rock formation. You've seen it in photographs. You know that the red rocks with the lines, the streak lines that are curvy, canyon line. It's called the Wave in Arizona. It's so famous they only allow 20 people into it every single day, because otherwise it would be so overrun with tourists it would just be unphotographable. But the Wave, of course, divides by 3, and Arizona divides by 3. And Arizona is like just loaded. It's like 27 plus 27, that equals love, plus another 15 plus 15. And so, you know, now that you've gotten some of these gems here, and you've understood God's sovereignty in ordaining these 3s, one thing that I suggest you do is pull up a YouTube video of Team Canada winning the Celebration of Light on day 3, because we just presented all the divine 3s in this whole story. English Bay, Team Canada, the third country of 3 countries, Archangel fireworks, totally obvious gem to the glory of the Trinity. Over 500,000 people in attendance, record-breaking. So now, be blessed, and pull up a video of this performance on YouTube, and just marvel at the glory of God in this tiny piece of His story. It's another gem in the story of God for His glory. And remember, God is light. He created light first. The Bible says God is light, and in Him is no darkness at all. The name of this event is called the Celebration of Light, sponsored by Honda, and Honda divides by 3. So now the obvious thing for you to do is pull up a video of this third performance of the 3 by Team Canada, no less, in English Bay. Vancouver, BC divides by 3, and enjoy the show. Firework divides by 3. Enjoy the show and just let it sink into you that God is sovereign over these events. And I would not be surprised if you are particularly dazzled by this particular fireworks show that you see. Okay? By Archangel Productions, no less. Archangel Fireworks. So, and of course there's 2 very famous archangels. Archangel, whatever you want to say, it's A-R-C-H divides by 3, adding to 30 exactly. 2 famous archangels from the Bible, Michael and Gabriel. Well, by Divine Ordinance in English, Michael divides by 3 and Gabriel divides by 3, and you can do that one for homework. So, that's my morning gems there. That's the morning flood. Share it with others and dig in yourself.